Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansu, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, what we're currently witnessing in the sports world, in terms of sports media, is essentially the battle between Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. This is essentially what we're looking at. Who's going to be the top dog in the morning for the morning sports shows? As you guys know, Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless used to be partners. It was actually originally Skip Bayless who was on Cold Pizza, and they started bringing in Stephen A. Smith. Then they rebranded the show around 2010, 11 or something like that to ESPN First Take, and then that show ran its course all the way till 2016 or 15 or 16 or something like that. And then he ultimately moved on to FS1. Stephen A. Smith then started working with Max Kellerman. They took it to that. And then ultimately what Stephen A. Smith decided to do was then kind of go back to this rotating cast of personalities, something pretty much what Skip Bayless was doing at the beginning, right before he was brought into the fold. Skip ultimately then moved over to FS1, where he had a show with Shannon Sharp, and then we all know what happened. Their show ended. I mean, the two of them ended back in June, the very next day. Yeah, the day after the NBA Finals had concluded. Well, since that point, there have been numerous reports circulating around Skip Bayless. One of them had to do with the fact that there were reports saying that a lot of people were not interested, and they were finding it difficult to find people to work with Skip Bayless because a lot of people weren't interested in working with him on television. There was that. There were some reports saying that some executives were not happy with some of the decisions that Skip Bayless was making in terms of the people he was looking to hire to bring on his show. There were some people saying that. And then towards the beginning of the NFL season, we then started to hear the names of people that were going to be working with him. We heard Keyshawn Johnson. We heard Richard Sherman. We heard Michael Irvin. We heard Rachel Nichols. We heard so many different people, right? And it started to create a lot of energy. So what happened? Skip's show came out the first week or so, and it had some mixed reviews. And some people were saying that, listen, this show is actually turning out to be a failure. So what happened? I was doing some research, and I came across an article this morning from Front Office Sports, which is essentially saying that the new Undisputed closed the gap with First Take in the premiere week. But before we even get into this article, this video is brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let me just get into this article here. Starts off with the headline: New Undisputed closed gap with First Take in premiere week. Continues on. Skip Bayless revamped Undisputed Live on FS1 started to close the rating gap against Stephen A. Smith's rival First Take on ESPN at the end of its premiere week. On Thursday, Bayless's weekday Embrace Debate show averaged 91,000 viewers versus Smith's 336,000 according to sources. But on Friday, with NFL insider Josina Anderson making her debut, Undisputed pulled in 126,000 viewers versus 307,000 for First Take. the second biggest TV audience for Bayless since he returned from a 2-month hiatus on August 8th with a new cast including Michael Irvin, Keyshawn Johnson, and Richard Sherman. The rebooted show's Monday premiere drew 131,000 viewers to 448,000 First Take. By Wednesday, plunged to 78,000 versus 423,000. That Wednesday number was also impossible to believe, warned one source. That's former fans actively choosing not to watch. Friday's audience was still below the 154,000 viewers that Undisputed, Skip, and Shannon averaged during the former co-host Sharp's final episode on June, and First Take continues to average nearly 3 times the audience of Undisputed Not Live. It's difficult to draw conclusions from one week of ratings, especially since the new NFL season won't kick off until Thursday night. Part of the reason for the 71-year-old Skip Bayless' nine TV lives is his support for the Dallas Cowboys. The first win or loss by America's team could drive Undisputed Live viewership into the 200,000 plus, and then the article goes on to say a few things. So, what are my thoughts about this? Well, to me, it shows that Skip Bayless and these guys are not giving up, that they're still interested in fighting, and they have no choice to fight because they just made a huge investment in all of this front-facing talent. Here are my thoughts about the show. And I'm just going to be honest with you. If you ask me to choose between Keyshawn Johnson and Shannon Sharp, I think Keyshawn is the more objective person, but I think Shannon Sharp might be more entertaining. Richard Sherman, I expected more given the history that him and Skip Bayless have, but then again, they're discussing football. I've heard some of his basketball takes. I'm not really a fan of them. I like Rachel Nichols on the show, but overall, I enjoy the segments of ESPN First Take more than I do the segments of Undisputed Live. And by the way, I liked ESPN First Take more even when Undisputed had Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless, because I thought a lot of their topics, if I'm being totally frank with you, were very, very stale. They would talk about the same things every day. It was either Tom Brady, the Dallas Cowboys, LeBron James, the Lakers, and then they'll sprinkle in a few other topics there. And I understand they're talking about these teams and these people because it's a big markets. I totally understand that. But after a while, it gets boring. ESPN First Take, I think they did a much better job with innovating in terms of their topic items that they would discuss on a daily basis. But hey, this is just my opinion. I could be 100% wrong. So the question to the audience is quite simple. How do you think Skip Bayless's new show fares into the future? Do you think it will one day surpass ESPN First Take? Or do you think that ESPN First Take will forever be the better show, at least for the near future, but you expect Undisputed to slowly build some consistency as time goes on? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you on the next show. Peace.